Oh, a lot of wrestling news slow down for a little bit, but no, coming out of Royal Rumble, it is not slowing down. A lot of big injuries, a lot of big news. The road to WrestleMania, the roads to WrestleMania is a pretty crazy one. It is Sportskeeda Wrestling. It is Rings and Rambles. If you're live and you're with us right now, go ahead and share the link. Go ahead and tag your wrestling buddies in the comments below. I'm Kevin Kellum. That is Nick Harkson over there, live with you on Sportskeeda Wrestling's YouTube channel, and of course on demand to you whenever you're getting it, and on the audio podcast side of things. Thank you to everyone who's almost getting us to 100,000 subscribers, by the way. I know we are just a sliver, if you will, Nicholas, of what's going on with Sportskeeda on YouTube, but we're so thankful for it. A lot to get into today. I want you guys to rate the Royal Rumble. I want to get your rating on the Royal Rumble. I want to hear from you. We have WrestleMania plans. Vince McMahon is out of a job, so we got to talk about that. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
A lot of craziness.
Right? And I'm going to say, I think any of these topics we could have done a half an hour full show on today, Nick.
Probably.
But literally minutes before we go live, we delay it because we get this news. CM Punk is injured, or at least reportedly that's the status. Multiple outlets reporting this, including Fightful Select, PWI Insider, Wrestling Observer, all at the same time.
Yeah.
This is expected to be addressed on tonight's Monday Night Raw. The first hour of the show will be commercial-free. And the word is it's a torn tricep, which could put him on the shelf for 4 to 6 months if he has surgery this week. He was in the final sequence of the men's Royal Rumble match. Cody Rhodes won it. He did the right thing, I think, and he didn't. Yeah, everyone's, he's a politician. He's only going to try and make himself win. I don't think he's ever done that. He just doesn't want to lose a match if he's supposed to lose a match. That isn't a pro CM Punk comment. That's just a pro reality comment.
Yeah.
So, was it clear to you that something was wrong in that match? Because they do that little mini match at the end, and he takes a bump on that. There's something that happens when he takes that DDT from Drew. And he rolled over and immediately was in the corner, and I was just concerned. I remember watching it at a bar with other people, and they're like, what's wrong with him? Is he just slow? And then he wrestled another 6 or 8 minutes. And it was really just the one-on-one stuff, so it's really him finessing. So what did you think there, Nick? I know I'm talking your head off here.
You're good, man. This is Rings and Rambles, but I definitely noticed something was wrong with Punk. I was kind of like, same thing. I was like, what's going on here? There was something off, and I was kind of wondering, maybe did they make a call there at the end? Maybe Punk was supposed to win. I don't know, but maybe he said something like,
I don't get that impression. I get the impression that it was if both Rollins and Reigns were sent to the, because they did the shot where they turn and they didn't wait. They waited. He right at the end, he's like, I'm calling you out, Roman, and they made it very, very clear. They did it right after. They've never done that where someone immediately walks out and says, this is the person I'm doing it. They didn't wait. And I don't think anyone would expect it. It would just put another drawn-out thing here. Jesse Hyde saying the road to WrestleMania 40 has begun, and it is a wild ring behind the scenes, as well as Vince is gone for good. WWE Punk is injured, and who knows what is going to happen. Yeah, it certainly adds a bump in the road here that I don't know. A lot of people are looking forward to this match with Punk and Rollins. And Rollins was dealing with an injury. We found out last week he was going to go through it here. People saying you should do Gunther versus Rollins. They did kind of allude to that.
Yeah, a little bit.
That is, and we'll see where that goes. Danielle saying Punk looked exhausted. In retrospect, I thought he looked gassed a little bit, but this is a guy who's having his first television match in WWE for 10 years, his first real TV match with WWE, his first TV match in almost just under a year, something like that. He wrestled in August. He wrestled the house shows for WWE in December, And I saw those matches, and those were well-paced matches. He's a 45-year-old guy. He's not going to wrestle the same way he did when he was 30. No. I think it was more the tricep. I think it was more clear of what can I do here? And let's slow the pace down here so I don't make this worse than it is. And he wanted, and also put it this way, if you're a WWE fan, this guy was hurt and found a way to finish the match.
Yeah.
You can't, if he's hurt, if he's exhausted because he's now dealing with an injury, he doesn't know how bad it is. He's a guy who understands that, or maybe it may not have been that bad. We've had guys have something wrong with them in a match, and they're thinking it's worry. They're all right. Let's get through this and see where it's at. What did you think?
Yeah, I was initially thinking he was gassed, just like that comment said, and it makes a lot more sense now that the tricep injury, came to light. And
that's just what's reported right now.
Right.
That could change.
And I've played sports my whole life, and I battled through injuries during a game, and let me tell you, it takes a lot out of you because all you're really focusing on is how you can still compete with that injury. So I know that's probably all that was going through his mind was, I just got to get through this. I just got to get through this, if he's in that much pain. But he did a good job. And he did finish the match.
In retrospect, because I thought at the end of the match, there's something wrong. Something's off.
Yes.
Like, hopefully it's not that bad. Now we know what it is, like 2 days later, or at least we have an idea of what it is. Reportedly. 69 viewers. Do we need any more? I would like some more, but I got to reference it. So thank you guys for watching live. Let us know what you think. CM Punk reportedly injured. Anthony Manazzo saying, Manzano saying, MLB. I don't think the injury is as serious as these reports are making it out to be. But maybe it's just ages finally catching up to Punk. Injuries that he didn't have, one when he was 20, is happening now. It's true. You could say that, he's had a lot. He had a lot of injuries in AEW, right on top. He had the foot injury, which he described as a really, really painful one. He's had knee problems. He's had an elbow issue. He's had surgery on when he was a champ. This is like 10, 15 years ago. People saying, Ellie Summit, as we know, Punk is injured. So now is that a possibility for Rock versus Roman and Cody versus Seth? Wow. No, I don't think you're getting away from Cody versus Roman. I really think they're going to stick with that match. We'll add some reporting and some news to that situation. I'll tell you why I think we're still getting Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania. I think this is more of a question mark now for Seth Rollins if he can get healthy for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
People saying, what is with the Raw after September 30th? I guess maybe is that a specific date? I don't know the reference there. People saying, what if they do on Andrea? I mean, I think you mean Andrade there versus Seth Rollins for the title. Well, you got to get Andrade built up for that match. I don't know if that's going to happen here. Safat, who's a really great supporter. He's a women main event, night 1, WrestleMania 40. Yeah, maybe that does change things. If there's a possibility the women move up the card. That's another thing, is there's other people on the card got to be looking at this thing and like, does this change my position here? If CM Punk, who's a huge name for WWE, I know some people are saying, oh, he just came back. No. You saw the metrics. The numbers are there.
Yeah.
You saw the numbers. He had some of the biggest social media numbers ever for WWE when he came back at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
People saying Rollins should relinquish the title. Let's have a tournament.
I mean, if he's injured,
that's another thing, is if you're Rollins, you've never main evented a WrestleMania. This was supposed to be the main event you were going to get. Punk has never main evented WrestleMania. Punk went on the record saying, I'm the one who's made a big deal out of not main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And he did this great. Did you see this vlog they did with him over the weekend? It was just on digital. Did you see that?
I believe I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. And I loved his kind of candor. He's like, it was a thing that I really and I think it's bigger for fans of me to see me have a main event at WrestleMania. Oh, it's 50-50. I think you still want a main event at WrestleMania. But I get what you're saying there. And now it's like, for Rollins, it was also becoming a bigger thing. And so they finally get to do it together, and they're both bitter and they both hate each other. The story kind of wrote itself to a degree. And now, if you're Rollins, do you think, like, if he's out 4 to 6 months and I get this knee injury and that I could maybe be ready to go at WrestleMania, do you want to come back? I think he does. I think the competitor in him does, but I think that he definitely thinks about that now. The guy he was supposed to main event WrestleMania with is now possibly not going to be there to compete against him. Maybe he's like, okay, this is my opportunity to rest up a little bit and get my knee all the way right instead of trying to rush back for that match. I know it is a huge deal to him. I know that Seth loves wrestling. He wants to be out there, but maybe this is the time to be a little bit smarter. And since the guy he was supposed to go up against at WrestleMania is hurt, maybe he just takes a seat back as well. Who knows? Yeah, a lot to get into. CM Punk injured. I think this has a lot. I thought the Rollins thing would change everything. And it seemed like, all right, no. When he went out there, he said, I think I'm going to be able to grit through it and be ready for WrestleMania. I'm not going to listen to the doctors. No, you're listening to the doctors.
Right.
And it was, hey, it's 50-50 as to whether or not you could go to WrestleMania. And I kind of think they did a backup plan. Of things of sorts. They were doing some type of backup plan by introducing Gunther in some way. So I think that's the road they were going here. I'll get into some other questions here. I want to know what you guys think of the Royal Rumble. I want to know how you guys feel about the Royal Rumble. Give me your rating 1 to 10. All right, we'll break that down. But I do have to talk about Vince McMahon. And this all broke since you and I spoke last week. Mm-hmm. And I think you and I went on Monday, and then the news with Netflix happened. It's a $5 billion deal. I would have loved to have done a show about that. I wouldn't have loved to have done a show about this. And I don't really want to, we have to cover it. And WWE certainly tried to address it as much as they could at the post-show press conference. I heard some people were very, very upset with the way that was handled. Or rather how some of the people responded to it. I think they answered as much as they could. because it is a legal situation, and you don't want to defame yourself. I think you want to say that too to everybody. So you can put yourself in that position even if you don't intend to do it sometimes.
Exactly.
So, and I wish that, but I also wanted more answers about this whole thing. So Vince McMahon accuses some very horrific things that I'm not going to mention for the sake of the YouTube algorithm, because sometimes your videos get shadow banned and stuff like that. I'll say SA, and you can look up what that abbreviation means. It is something he's accused of in this situation. These follow-up accusations of him having some infidelities and improper relationships, and accusations of misconduct. You can find all these things.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the details of what those things are because they're very, very disturbing and depraved. And I don't know who's watching. And if kids are watching, I don't want to have them exposed to that unless it's necessary. But the expectation was he was going to be out of WWE within, 48 hours? And he was.
Yeah, right away, yep.
Slim Jim pulls out. Major sponsor for WWE. Has been for years. They literally in Slim Jim's ads, some of their ads, they say this is the biggest partnership that WWE has ever had with the sponsor. So that's a significant one. And I've talked to people who worked on that deal and have done ad reads for it. And they say this is a significant buy that they're doing and stuff like that. So they pull out. Vince is out. That's Friday night. And the way this breaks down, I always want to give you the corporate succession stuff. There is no voting power that Vince McMahon has now after Endeavor now buys a controlling interest with Ari Emanuel's the head of the board. Vince was the chairman of the board. The real president of TKO Holdings over WWE and UFC was Ari Emanuel. So that changes everything. Vince McMahon, this is a second, exit from the company and a resignation. He's going to defend himself. He says that these are not true, that the things he's alleged of doing are very untrue and fictional and all these different things. And I don't have to get into a statement and get into it. You guys can find all this stuff out. But tough situation, to put it lightly. And I just feel for everyone who's affected by it. And if you know anyone who's affected by that type of violence and crime, I really feel for you, because I know there's other people and I have people in my life who've been affected by it as well. So we have to address it. So if we don't talk about it, but I mean, this is a WWE without Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon really wasn't controlling the situation. He had some influence over it, but the more that Endeavor kind of took things over, it became more of the Triple H show. And then we learned a few months ago that no, it really is the Triple H show, that Ari Emanuel really trusts him in that case. But now we learn, and this is a report that came out today, that Ari Emanuel is going to radically change the culture of WWE within and try to do the best they can to absolve themselves of the association with Vince McMahon.
That's good.
So, what do you think of that, man? Go ahead. I didn't mean to. I'm getting all the facts out there, but go ahead.
You're good. I have a lot that I think about this matter, but I don't want to get too much into it. It's just crazy, when the news broke, I read the whole lawsuit and everything, and my goodness, man, there's just some terrible things in there. But
you read the actual lawsuit document, the whole thing?
Yeah, I saw what Nick Hausman posted, and he posted the lawsuit, and I read it, and yeah, dude, there's some absolutely terrible things in there, and Vince is going to defend himself, so we'll see what happens here, what all comes to light. But for now, I think that they made the right move by getting him out of there. And if there's anybody left who's a yes man to him, I'm sure that they'll be gone as well. But we'll see what happens moving forward. But I think that they made the right initial move by letting Vince get the heck out of there. So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And so people want to get back into these comments here, and a lot of wrestling fans who follow Sportskeeda stuff want to talk wrestling, and that's kind of what I'm going to get back to. It is a serious topic. People calling them names and different things like that. And I understand people are going to respond a certain way and have their take, but I get it. It's weird to make this like pivot to let's just talk about a wrestling show, and here's the things that happen at wrestling. But Royal Rumble went down, 48,000, Tropicana. I heard a lot of people say the crowd was dead. Now, I watched this in a loud bar, so I couldn't really get the entire reaction. But I got to hear a loud crowd pop for all these different things. I enjoyed the show. I wouldn't call it the greatest Royal Rumble. I would call it a pretty good one. A pretty good one.
Entertaining.
Yeah. Two favorites won the match. I thought the women had a better Royal Rumble match than the men. This is the second, maybe third year in a row where the women got to outdo the men. And I also think they get the benefit of going on first. I think when you have the benefit of going on first, maybe we're seeing that because there's so much. Am I wrong? Like the Royal Rumble has so many things that people put on it in terms of expectations.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very hard to have a Royal Rumble that meets every expectation.
I completely agree. There's so much hype around it. Everybody wants the biggest return. They're all expecting so-and-so to win. A lot of people were looking for The Rock to be there this time, and things didn't happen, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's got so much expectation around it that there's always going to be, I think, to some people, a little bit of a letdown. I don't know, not to me. I enjoy it no matter what. But yeah, this Rumble was a lot of fun. And I agree with you. I think that the women's match once again outshined the men's. I wouldn't say by, a large margin, but it definitely to me was my more favorite Rumble match of the two this year, at least. And it was the same way last year too. But yeah, it was.
Bayley wins it. This is her first Royal Rumble win. She's one of the 4 horsewomen from that NXT class that came over. Some people really feeling that. Now this is, I have, one person give me a 6 out of 10. Arvin's giving it an 8 out of 10. It's a strong rating. A 7 out of 10. That's pretty positive. I think anything north of a 6, positive rating. Anything in the middle is pretty good. Some people give me a 6.5. Bitman again giving it a 7.5. Cam Caputo giving it a 6. Called every winner. Very little surprises for me. Oh, can I get into the Royal Rumble surprise thing, Nick? Can I talk to you about this?
Get into it.
Oh, here is my hot take with this, Cam. And Cam, I agree with you. I love a good Royal Rumble surprise. And you got some. You got them. You got Liv Morgan. She came back from an injury. She wasn't advertised. You got her. You got Naomi coming back. She came in at number 3. They started the show with a surprise, all right? You got the TNA Knockouts Women Champion coming in this match. And by the way, did not get jobbed out, okay?
No.
She took a KOD on the apron, had a great showing. You had Jade Cargo. Many people expected it. Those are surprises, okay?
Yeah.
So you got surprises. But they're surprises you wanted that they didn't advertised that you're mad about. People saying Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace looked great.
Jordan Grace.
She got a great reaction too.
She looked
also,
awesome.
WWE referencing TNA a lot. I guess it's part of the deal. But TNA really, the forbidden door was open. We had Kofi Kingston on the record with us on Friday saying he loved that Mickie James came through the door. Let's do it again. And he was asking everybody in wrestling to come through the door, right?
Yeah.
People saying Roxanne Perez, Dominic Mysterio. Yeah. But the whole, MJF didn't show up, so it sucks. There was nothing there. Nothing beyond what you guys thought a year ago that cooled off. There is literally just, I predicted in my head, why isn't it on TV? Let's do it. Now, The Rock I could see. All right, The Rock, they've done enough teasing. The Rock was on TV a few weeks ago. He just joined the board of the company. Wouldn't that be wild if he was on the board of the company, walked out, won the Royal Rumble, blah, 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 right?
Would be cool if we saw The Rock.
But saying I called every winner. Calling a winner isn't bad. I just, Cam, I'm just saying I don't know where that's an argument for the show being bad. You know what I mean? I just don't know where that's an argument. I knew Shawn Michaels when I was 12 was going to beat Bret Hart for the title at WrestleMania 12. That didn't make the match bad.
No.
It didn't make the match bad. But I will say this. I think the injury now, in retrospect with Punk, at the end of the Cody Rhodes match, may have taken some real mustard off the pitch with them. Because I thought that was a good match going overall. And then there's other people saying, oh, the crowd was dead. And I hear from people that went to the show, and they said, my section was popping the whole night. We had a good time. Maybe it was the audio. I don't know. That isn't me defending it, But I have a lot of people giving the show an 8 out of 10. That's a good rating. And another thing is, if it's not great, that's okay, too. Am I wrong where people go, it has to be the best Royal Rumble or it's the worst? The initial reactions were thumbs down. They didn't do this. This sucked. I was really? Everyone's knee-jerk reactions, man.
It takes a lot to be the greatest Royal Rumble ever. I'll say that. It's going to take a ton to be the greatest Royal Rumble ever. So.
They could be 92.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. I don't look. It's got it right behind me over here.
People saying I hate AEW sucks. Oh, just whatever, dude. Whatever, dude. Brian Klotsky says would like to see WWE get Major City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley from TNA, have them tag team gold in WWE. The whole door is open. Yeah, it's people want that. People saying if Dominic turns face. People giving thank you, John. I've talked to you before. He gives it an 8.9.
Dominic had an impressive performance in the Royal Rumble. He was
eliminated Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Braun
Brock Lesnar was brought up in this whole lawsuit situation.
Yep.
And his situation certainly is not good.
No.
But he was accused of some things that were certainly not unsavory. And the plan reportedly was to bring him back, and Braun Breaker was his replacement. And Braun Breaker got to do all of his spots basically in the Royal Rumble and get eliminated like him. So that was interesting.
That was
people
cool,
people saying they give it an 8.5.
Nice.
Stacy giving it that there. So yes, I mean, weird how we give it a couple days. The instant reaction sucks. That's the one thing I wanted.
Yeah, I think that the instant reactions were a little bit harsher than I'm seeing now in the chat.
Yes,
which is good.
I think maybe people give them the benefit of the doubt when they hear the guy blew out his entire muscle in his arm and still wrestled 8 minutes.
Exactly.
William Hanley, I don't mind distracting you. Anyone know what Charlotte Flair is doing with rehab? I don't think she's going to be ready for WrestleMania. That has not been the talk. I think hopefully we get her by SummerSlam. So let's talk about this. Jordan Grace, TNA knockout, showed up the match. She had a very good showing. I thought she looked really great. They gave her a moment with Naomi too. Naomi is the person she took the title from on her way out. So it was really good. And so Anthony's saying, so with this partnership with TNA and WWE, does WWE send wrestlers like a Dominic Mysterio, Roxanne Perez, or Braun Breaker to TNA? That's a very interesting question. It's also worth noting there is some type of business relationship there because TNA Plus, TNA streaming service, has the technical backing, not to say they're owned by Endeavor, but the service, the kind of like technical backing service they use to stream it is Endeavor Streaming, which is what WWE used to. WWE never got the ball rolling there too. Very interesting question. I think WWE is an overflow of talent that could go over and do something in TNA. It'd be interesting. Now, they're kind of already doing that in NXT. With me, I would do NXT and TNA working together. I would do that before anything else because that's where you get to play with stuff. That's where you get to experiment with something that's kind of out of the box, and you can, play with rules and stuff like that. And you've heard about, like, you're a baseball guy, right? They'll try the pitch count rules on minor league teams first before they bring it up to major leagues.
Yep.
So I do think it's like maybe try with NXT. NXT is going to be on the CW, so you're going to want some fresh stuff there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different thing. What do you think? That's a crazy question.
Yeah. I love it. The more wrestling and opening of the forbidden door is, I love to see it. And I agree with you. NXT and TNA working together, I would stream into that. I would tune into that all the time. And I think that's the play there. So I agree with you there. I hope that they do work together a lot more moving forward. And I'm interested to see how this unfolds here in the near future.
Johan, with this one, I think most people were upset that because Mercedes didn't show up. That's Mercedes Monet, Sasha Banks. Word we're getting is that she will be indeed wrestling at some point in March, and it will not be with WWE. That is the reported word coming out today. Obviously, if she didn't show up at the Royal Rumble, that would have been the key spot to reintroduce her into things with WWE. But the word has been that she's going to All Elite Wrestling for quite some time. There was a potential chance she could have went to WWE, but that cooled off in the last month or so. And they went with Bayley, and I don't think you should be opposed to the idea of Bayley at all, winning this. I mean, Bayley can tell a very interesting story with Damage Control and have a great match with Io Sky. It looks like that's the direction I think we're going to get it. We're going to get Damage Control breaking up here.
I mean, Bayley did initially tweet, I think, that something at Rhea Ripley, correct? But I think that she's going to go at Io Sky. I mean, it wasn't set in stone. And I think that they had more to play out in that match between Bayley and Damage Control. But did you see that Kairi Sane, she saying I think she eliminated herself earlier than she was supposed to be. She kind of was hanging there on the rope and her feet touched.
Oh yeah, no, she was doing that cool. She was trying to do like the near entrance thing where her legs were hanging, and then there was that deflating, like, oh no, they touched. Like, you're done.
And I don't think she was actually supposed to.
It was one of those. Yeah.
So I think that there was maybe more to be told in the Rumble match between them than actually played out because she got eliminated, I think, prematurely. But who knows? I think there's still a story to be told there, and definitely the Io and Bayley is going to be great. I can't wait for that. So I love that Bayley won.
All right, if you're still live with us, guys, we can go on here a little bit. Share the link tag your wrestling friends. We're trying to grow the show. There's so many options for wrestling. I mean, it's hard to do that. But you guys are a part of the show. So if you guys are our biggest megaphone, our biggest resource to reach new viewers, new listeners, and stuff like that. So just tag your wrestling buddies. Literally, if you know someone you talk wrestling with, just tag them in the comments wherever you see them. It really, really helps us out. I love getting more comments on screen. I'll talk to you some of you guys after the show is done too in the comments as well. Margarito says, R-Truth created another memorable moment in the Women's Royal Rumble. He did. This was very funny. I loved it this year. I say a solid 7. The men's number 30 needed to be Braun Strowman or Hogan. Like, they didn't give me my surprise. There are a lot of healthy scratches this year for the Royal Rumble too. Pete Dunne was in Tampa. Chad Gable was not in the match. So there were a handful. I think Otis got in there. Didn't Otis get in there? I could be wrong on that. But I mean, you know, you had this. I heard reports about Andrade and Naomi going before there. Figured Sammy and Liv would be in it. Jordan Grace, I didn't see coming though. All right, so let's see. It's all about predictions. I thought this, and then this happened. No, when the bell rings, it's a show. Okay, let it be a show, and then you can judge it by other things here. Lynn with the comment here. They need to send more unexperienced wrestlers to TNA for more experience. Yeah, why not? They already do it kind of with NXT, build them up. Other people with different takes here. Want to make sure I get as many new people on here. Share the link so you don't stink there. Want to get more people on screen here. People, like this person didn't come back, and that person. Those aren't like, I know it's like a built up expectation, right? Yeah. But those aren't like, for sure things here. So. Chris Leclerc, I'm happy Bayley won the Royal Rumble match on Saturday because I'm the biggest Bayley fan ever. Bayley's a lifer. Nice. You can't tell me she didn't deserve this, right? She's been with WWE a long time, went through a lot of injuries, came back from them. And I think this is a nice way to reboot her character because she's kind of been a supporting player for like a significant period of time now.
Yeah, I liked her presser afterwards too. She's like, I've been telling you guys for a long time I'm supposed to have been winning these matches.
I didn't think that was good. Oh, here we go. I'll get one here from Australia. You gotta be pumped here, Matthew. You got the elimination coming your way. Are you going to Elimination Chamber, Matthew? Let me know if you're in Australia. Hey guys from Australia, but thought it was a great Rumble. Sorry, I had to do the great. I thought it was a great Rumble, but would love to see a couple of more surprises. I understand you want to see some more surprises. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew about the Edge surprise months in advance. Was asked to keep my mouth shut about it. And I did. And then we had our embargo lift. And then it was like 2 weeks before the Rumble. And then we could put the story out. This is when I worked at a different website. And we're like, but what if we just didn't put it out? Like, we thought about it for a little bit. We eventually put it out. It was not my call, by the way. But I remember the reaction when Edge came back at the 2020 Royal Rumble. It was amazing.
Oh,
Cena came back. I understand you want that like dopamine. You want that. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. The kaboom. Like the back of your head, like fireworks.
Yeah. No, I will say that that I'll agree with some of the surprises comments. I was hoping for a more of a nostalgic pop, we talked about that last week. I just wanted one
like the one-off ones with the guy we haven't seen. X-Pac was one that was talked about.
Right. I just wanted one.
Ken Shamrock was a late one that people were floating out there as well.
Yeah.
But also part of it is you kind of don't have to do that every year. And
True.
if you do it, the problem is it becomes the thing you have to do. Like, and and for these are lifelong fans. I'm not saying you wanting a surprise is a bad thing, but I'm saying you saying there wasn't a surprise, so it's bad is wrong because
That's
surprises are not advertised. So if they advertise there will be surprises, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, then you could be upset about it. They simply just said these wrestlers are announced, and who else could show up? They didn't use the word surprise entrance. True. They didn't use there's big returns. A big superstar is returning at the Royal Rumble. That's just like a built-up expectation.
Yeah.
Ozzy saying Jade was awesome. Jade Cargill had an incredible showing in the Royal Rumble. Amazing. She eliminated a bunch of people. I think she eliminated Jade, didn't she? Or no, Jade eliminated Nia Jax, who was having a big Rumble there too.
Yeah.
So I mean, she looked great. They treated her like a big star. She got to have a moment with Bianca. She felt like a big star. And she turns heads. There's a lot of expectations for her. And this was one. This was expected, but I don't see anyone complaining about it. This one, you knew this one was coming, but you're not bitching about this one, right?
Yeah, she got a big pop. And I showing her raw power right off the bat, and just that she's here, a force to reckon with. Didn't win the Rumble, but they made it clear that she's going to be a big time powerhouse in that women's division. So I love what they did with Jade there. And I love that they wait. I know there was some personal things going on, but this was the perfect time for her to come into WWE. Was the Royal Rumble, eliminate a big time player in the women's division, and the way that she did it, perfect entrance.
Mm-hmm. More people sounding off here. People talking about Trick Williams. Yeah, he did get a good pop on the SmackDown before Royal Rumble. They called up a couple of people from NXT on the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. What a situation to be in there. What a wealth of riches WWE currently has. They have a lot of depth. That's one thing I'm noticing now with Triple H's WWE is there's a lot of depth in the roster.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, good problem to have.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have people bitching. My favorite guy. He's not a star or not a main eventer. I didn't get this. Here we go. We'll get into this. Men's Royal Rumble. Cody's the winner. George says Cody shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. Do you think he should have won the Royal Rumble? Do you think it's the right time? Because he won the Royal Rumble and immediately pointed to Roman Reigns in his skybox suite and said, "You're the guy, and I'm going for you. I'm going for you." And they made it clear right away. WWE put it out on social media. They put the clip out there. They haven't put up the graphic like, "Hey, this is the official match." But I think that's just a foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he was either going to win if the plan was to have him finish the story or to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It's either Royal Rumble or probably the Elimination Chamber. He's going to win one of those. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a good story. I think that some people I heard are upset because they were like, well, when Stone Cold, Hogan, and Shawn Michaels won it 2 years in a row, they faced two different opponents for the belt the next year and all this stuff. They're like, it's a different story. So I don't really see why it's still like some people are saying it's going to be a bad Mania and all this because it's the same. I don't see that. I think it was a good Rumble. I like that Cody won it, especially, CM Punk being hurt there at the end. If he would have won and then the injury would have come out, I think
he was injured, not injured.
Injured. Sorry,
I had a ticker that missed a J typing too fast. But he was no. I'm feeling for him, but no, I agree. We're not giving him a pass, but it happens. Injuries happen.
Yep. So I think it's fine that Cody won.
People saying this comment coming in is CM Punk going to challenge on Seth Rollins after Elimination Chamber. The status of CM Punk is really up in the air. 4 to 6 months means we don't see you until the summer. So that puts it all in doubt here. That puts it all in doubt. And I think you can do Rollins versus Punk without a title. And maybe at this point, I don't know if Rollins needs to keep the title that long. I don't know if WWE has the patience in their audience to do that long of title reigns. It's Roman Reigns keeping his belt,
Yeah.
You've done the long title reign here enough under Triple H. Let's see what happens here. Other people chiming in here. R-Truth could have had the biggest moment of 2024 by merging Judgment Day and LWO into a super. Dude, R-Truth is really, really funny. Him showing up in the women's Royal Rumble. He runs out in the wrong match. He then runs out in the men's match and tries to have a tag. He tries to tag himself in with Dominic Mysterio from the Judgment Day. I thought that was really, and then eliminates eliminates JD McDonough by mistake. It was like, and then he's working with Miz. Him and Miz are suddenly working together. He doesn't know if it's a tag team. He doesn't know. That guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm saying,
so The Rock lied to us. When did The Rock lie to you? When did The Rock lie? What did The Rock lie about? Did he lie? He said he wants to be the head of the table, and then he became the head of the WWE. He's on the board. Is that a lie? Not a lie. Maybe that's the table he was talking about.
Technically speaking, he's sitting at the head of a table.
So exactly here. Other people bringing up that comment CM Punk said last week. I didn't wait 10 years to lose to Dusty's kid. Ouch. But in that same promo, he said that Dusty asked him to look out for his son when he was coming up the ranks in WWE. And in some way, you can say that he certainly did that by doing the favors for him. Certainly an interesting situation here with Royal Rumble and what is going on. So thank you guys for being patient, trying to get all your comments on screen and me rolling with the news as it became a thing here. Obviously, we have a situation here. CM Punk injured, and it is coming a week after the Netflix deal is coming together, and there's more people with questions about that. I think we're going to know more as we get closer and closer to it, and we'll know what's going on here. Thank you guys for watching. Did you enjoy the Royal Rumble? Give us your 1 to 10 on the Royal Rumble, and let us know how you feel about it. Did it set up the road to WrestleMania? Is Cody versus Roman going to be a thing? I think it is. Is he going to finish the story? I think he is. And guess what? That's predictable, but I'm excited to see the payoff. I'm excited to see the payoff.
Are you gonna go? You going to Philly?
I don't know. I'm looking at it right now.
Same.
I'm hoping I know in the next week or two. You looking at the next week or two?
I'm looking at it. Yep.
Dude, the ticket prices went up too. By the way.
They did. I know.
Secondary market really went up there. Really went up there. So I mean, a sign of interest that fans have in this, the desire to go. I want to get some more comments in here before we sign off. Roman isn't happy with Cody. Of course he isn't. He sold it. He's worried, shaking in his boots. And also shaking in his one wrist guard. He's shaking. Nick and Kevin with these allegations, Vince, does this push Endeavor to maybe go back and bring Stephanie and Shane to run the WWE side of TKO? I heard the Stephanie story. Yeah. And that's just kind of a talking point that was brought up in the PWI Insider piece, which really credit to Mike Johnson and his team. He has great resources. And they said that was a possibility. And she was brought in before when Vince left the first time. She was like, all right, I'll steal the ship. I'm a McMahon. My name is connected to the legacy of the business. Is that something she wants to do? I think that's another thing you have to factor. I can't speak for her, and she's a successful woman who doesn't have to do anything else in wrestling again. I think she could work in entertainment and do other things. Is that something she's driven to do? You take on that role. It's a lot and it's very demanding. In these circumstances, that's really, really challenging and very, very hard for someone. And you now you have to come in and clean up this mess in one way or another, whether you want to be associated with that. That's not fair. No. That's not fair to her. She that's not reasonable. Am I wrong?
I agree with you 100%. It's so much to take on there. And she's doing fine now. She's been away for a little bit. I don't know if she wants to come in, just like you said, and sweep everything under the rug or not sweep, but just try to clean it up. And especially, that's her dad, right there. That just got that's going out. So who knows?
It's personal then too. It's not just business.
Exactly.
So. Another question: who will be the next opponent for Gunther? He's the undefeated reigning, record-breaking WWE Intercontinental Champion. I like that the Intercontinental title is getting some heat on it.
Oh yeah,
going into this year's WrestleMania.
Loving it.
I enjoy this, and I like this. I don't know the answer to this question, but I like that people are asking it. Don't you, Nick? Who do you build up? I think Chad Gable. He's taken a couple cracks at it. He's the only person who's won a match. He won by countout.
Yeah.
He beat Gunther by countout. Now, he didn't pin him or submitted him, but he does have the asterisk of being that guy. And I do think you could turn him into the overzealous American athlete character.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle. You could turn him into a modern day Kurt Angle. And he's always had that. He's always had that DNA in him. And I think that'd be really, really cool if they could go that route and him. But they're also doing Imperium versus the New Day. So that's interesting and where that's going. So there's a lot of possibilities here. I think we'll know here. I think we'll know in a little bit. Some people are saying Ludwig Kaiser is going to be the guy to take the title off him. We asked Gunther this, by the way. Our very own Emily May interviewed Gunther, and she asked him that question. You can watch that over on the Wrestle Binge channel. Great interview with him, by the way. Talking about Royal Rumble, talking about the Intercontinental title, his future in wrestling. His life has changed recently, personally, outside of wrestling. It's influencing him. So a lot of different things here. I want to try and get as many comments in here because you guys have been so supportive to us here. Was CM Punk injured at the Royal Rumble? Yes. The belief is that he suffered a torn tricep. If you're just joining us late, that's unfortunate. Right there. Is that the tricep?
The tricep, yep, on the back, yep.
I was doing 1,000. What was that scene in Anchorman when he's lifting and he has his shirt off and Veronica Cornerstone comes in? He's like, I was lifting. I did 1,000. I don't know if you heard me. I did 1,000. It was the upper dorsimus that connects to the just making up muscles.
Gotta love Anchorman.
Gotta love Anchorman. It's an incredible movie. One of the funniest movies of all time. Fight me
I
on it.
agree.
You see me at WrestleMania, you run up to me, you're like, Adrian Man sucks. I'll thumb wrestle you for it.
We're fighting.
All right. Thank you guys so much here. People saying, did we talk about Vince? Yes, we did. We did cover the Vince thing earlier in the show. So if you just joined us late, go ahead and watch the whole show, by the way, too. Go and watch the whole show. Nick, if they want to follow you, where do they go?
Follow me on Twitter at nharksen24. That's at NHARKSEN24.
You can follow me on the Instagram at KevKellum6. Follow me at KevKellum on the Twitter. Follow Sportskeeda on everything. Thank you. Thank you for saying it's a good show. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. That's what we're going for here, bud. And I'm of the people. We're worried about CM Punk's tricep, but what about Cody's teeth? Did he lose a tooth?
I think it was. I thought it was Carlito's apple.
Someone got someone shooted to an apple. That's
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how did you get hurt? I just took a bad bite of an apple. Ridiculous. Follow Sportskeeda on all the different things. We have so much content coming up before WrestleMania. We just dropped some very, very cool videos on our main YouTube channel, Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. Thank you so much. 100,000 subscribers. We're making the march there. If you're not yet a subscriber, you diehards, please do that. I'm trying to convince them, the big bosses at Sportskeeda, at the Sportskeeda Tower. Did you know there's a tower? Sportskeeda Tower.
It's a tower.
Calling all the way up to the top floor, saying we got to do something special. We break 100K. We got to do it.
Let's do it.
So it'll be fun. So thank you guys so much. I will jump into the comments with you guys after the show is done. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. Follow us on the different things. And remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing. Enjoy wrestling. Bye.